नमस्कार, स्वागत है आप सभी का स्पोर्ट्स आवर में। आज 1 घंटे हम बात करेंगे तमाम खेल की खबरों की, खेल के मैदान में क्या कुछ चल रहा है, स्पोर्ट्स जगत में क्या कुछ चल रहा है, तमाम चीजें आप तक पहुंचाएंगे। मैं हूं आपके साथ निशा सिंह और मेरे साथ मौजूद है मेरी को एंकर साक्षी।
Thanks, Nisha, and a very warm good evening to all the viewers of Doordarshan. As in the next 1 hour, we'll be looking at getting a complete wrap-up of what's happened in the world of sports, not just from what's going on right now today, but also giving you an insight as to how the world of social media and Twitterati also reacted to all that went around in the big news of the day when we talk about sports. And before we get going on that, let's have a quick wrap and a look at how the top 25 stories of the day look at us. India seal an emphatic 8-wicket victory in Mohali against England to take a 2-0 lead in the 5-match test series. Parthiv Patel scores an unbeaten 67 in his comeback test. Ravindra Jadeja has been named the man of the match for some excellent batting down the order and also for picking up some crucial wickets at important times. All-rounder Hardik Pandya has been sidelined from the action for minimum 6 weeks following a sustained hairline fracture on his right shoulder. India completed a hat-trick of wins as they defeated Pakistan by 5 wickets in the Asian Women's T20 Asia Cup. The Indian Eads are now at the top of the points table. New Zealand took 9 wickets in a dramatic final session of the second test against Pakistan to win by 130 runs. Black Caps clinched the series 2-0, first series win against Pakistan since 1985.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ अगले महीने होने वाले 3 टेस्ट मैचों की श्रृंखला के लिए पाकिस्तान की 16 सदस्यीय टीम में कोई बदलाव नहीं किया गया है। न्यूजीलैंड दौरे के सभी खिलाड़ी ऑस्ट्रेलिया के खिलाफ खेलेंगे। रणजी ट्रॉफी में बंगाल की पहली पारी के 99 रन के जवाब में मुंबई ने पहले दिन की समाप्ति के बाद 5 विकेट पर 164 रन बना लिए हैं। शार्दुल ठाकुर ने 6 विकेट लिए। चेन्नई में विदर्भ की पहली पारी के 183 रन के जवाब में दिल्ली ने पहले दिन 1 विकेट पर 12 रन बनाए। सुमित नरवाल ने सबसे ज्यादा 4 विकेट चटकाए। समीर वर्मा, परुपल्ली कश्यप और बी साई प्रणीत मकाऊ ओपन बैडमिंटन टूर्नामेंट के दूसरे दौर में पहुंच गए हैं। साइना नेहवाल बुधवार को अपने अभियान की शुरुआत करेगी। एशियाई खेलों के स्वर्ण पदक विजेता विकास कृष्ण को इस वर्ष का सर्वश्रेष्ठ मुक्केबाज घोषित किया गया। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मुक्केबाजी संघ उन्हें 20 दिसंबर को पुरस्कृत करेगा।
Indian men's hockey team claimed a 3-2 win over the world number 1 Australia in the first of the 2 tests. Talented youngster Afan Yusuf slotted 2 huge goals for the Indians. The International Hockey Federation has announced Malaysia as a replacement for the Pakistan in the Junior Hockey World Cup to be held in Lucknow from December 8th. Hockey India appoints David John as High Performance Director. David has previously worked with the men's national team as the physiologist and scientific advisor. A chartered plane with the Brazilian First Division soccer team has crashed in Colombo while on its way to the finals of a regional tournament, killing 76 people. In an important match in Indian Super League, Atletico de Kolkata held by Kerala Blasters 1-1.
जर्मन सॉकर लीग बुंडेसलीगा में हेर्था बर्लिन ने माइंस को 2-1 से मात दी, जबकि शाल्के ने शानदार प्रदर्शन करते हुए डेमस्टैड को 3-1 से जीत दर्ज कराई है। इटालियन सॉकर लीग सीरिया में मारो इकार्डी के 2 गोल के सहारे इंटर मिलान ने फियोरेंटीना को 4-2 से पराजित किया। यूवेंटस अंक तालिका में शीर्ष पर है। विश्व कप 2017 की तैयारियों को बेहतर बनाने के लिए भारतीय अंडर 17 टीम ब्राजील और रूस के दौरे पर गई है। निकोलाई एडम की देखरेख में भारत वहां 4 टीमों के टूर्नामेंट में हिस्सा लेगा। 15 बार के विश्व चैंपियन भारत के पंकज आडवाणी ने विश्व स्नूकर चैंपियनशिप में कांस्य पदक अपने नाम किया। सेमीफाइनल में वेल्स के आंद्रे पैगेट ने आडवाणी को 7-2 से हराया। विश्व स्क्वैश चैंपियनशिप के महिला टीम स्पर्धा के पहले मैच में भारत को हार का सामना करना पड़ा। मिस्र ने भारत को 3-0 से पराजित किया।
Usain Bolt says athletes caught doping should be handed live bans. He thinks the reason the doping scandal is so widespread is because the authorities are doing a good job in finding the cheating athletes. Second edition of Pro Wrestling League being postponed from its original scheduled start of 15 December due to financial problems. American teenager Cece Bailey captured the first WTA title of her young career, knocking off top seed Zhang Shuai 6-4, 6-2 to win the trophy at the first ever Hawaii Open. The World Chess Championship is still left unfinished after 12 games between Magnus Carlsen and Sergei Karjakin. The contest moves into the tiebreakers, which starts on Wednesday. And Arvind Chidambaram crafted a much-needed victory over fellow Grandmaster Tejas Bakre in the 11th round of the National Chess Championship. This win kept him in the lead with M. Karthikeyan.
तो साक्षी, राउंड अप के जरिए हमने जाना कि किस तरीके से खेल जगत में क्या कुछ चल रहा है, खेल के मैदान में क्या चल रहा है और हॉकी में क्या हुआ, स्नूकर में क्या हुआ या फिर टेनिस में क्या हुआ, तमाम चीज़ों के बारे में हमने जान लिया। क्विक कहते हैं ना, 5 मिनट के अंदर सारी चीजें पता लग गई।
Correct, Nisha. Absolutely, that's exactly the aim that we look out for. And now we will be heading off to the detailed discussions of the day on specific sports. Joining us over here in the entire wrap-up would be a special guest that who will be joining us in the next couple of minutes. But before that, let's get started with the big story of the day, which is obviously the India-England Test match, which India won by a huge margin of 8 wickets. India took a 2-0 lead in the 5-match series by beating England by 8 wickets in the third Test in Mohali. Chasing 103 for a win, India chased down the target with only 2 wickets down in 20.2 overs. Parthiv Patel remained unbeaten on 67, his 5th Test half-century. Earlier, England were bowled out for 236 in their second innings, with Joe Root leading the way with a defiant 78. Haseeb Hamid remained unbeaten on 59.
India go 2 up in the PDM Test series with a comprehensive win here by 8 wickets in Mohali.
Yeah, and they thoroughly deserve their lead in the series. They thoroughly deserve this Test match win. I reckon they've only played bad cricket for around about 3 overs after tea.
And now I guess joining us over here would be our sports expert for the day, G. Rajaraman. Always a pleasure having you again on Sports Hour. Welcome to the show and a good evening.
Thank you so much. Wonderful to be here.
Well, Raja, if I were to just start off, I think the first question that would be there in our minds is obviously this has been a good win for us. But more than that, right now, I'm curious to know your take about Parthiv Patel's performance. Finally, the boy got a chance to prove his mettle. His inclusion was being questioned, I remember, by everyone around him, whether he was the right fit. And I think he stood for what he would was put into the team for at the end of the day.
Man boy in the first place. At 31, he's not really a boy. But he's done his bit. Scored 113 runs. 119 runs in 2 innings, which is great for India, and also kept well. Called in at the very last minute to replace Riddhiman Saha. I think he was under pressure because a lot of us said that he probably didn't deserve to be getting back into the Test side, that India needed to look at Rishabh Pant. But he proved all of us wrong just by believing in himself and by showing that he belongs to the highest level.
8 साल बाद उन्होंने वापसी की थी। पार्थिव पटेल की हम बात कर रहे हैं कि 8 साल बाद वापसी की थी। कहीं ना कहीं हमको लग रहा था कि दबाव उन पर होगा और सभी यही बातें कर रहे थे, एक्सपर्ट्स भी यही कह रहे थे, काफ़ी ज़्यादा दबाव उन पर होगा, वो किस तरह से टैकल करेंगे। और जिस तरीके से उन्होंने टैकल किया, ये कहा जाए बहुत काबिल तारीफ है एक खिलाड़ी के लिए जो इतने सालों बाद वापसी कर रहा हो।
सबसे बड़ी बात निशा ये है कि बाहर से जो भी आलोचना होती है उससे उन्हें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा। टीम मैनेजमेंट, खास करके अनिल कुंबले और विराट कोहली, जब इनका समर्थन था उनके पास, उन्होंने विश्वास दिखाया दोनों ने, और उसका पूरा फायदा उठाया पार्थिव पटेल ने। मुझे नहीं लगता हमारी आलोचना को लेके बहुत ज्यादा चिंतित होंगे पार्थिव पटेल। फोकस था, और जो तैयारी उनका था, और मैच के बाद विराट कोहली ने भी कहा कि फर्स्ट क्लास का जो अनुभव है उनके पास, वो बहुत ही यूजफुल रहा उनके लिए, और उसका पूरा फायदा टीम को मिला।
And I think the other player that definitely you would also agree would be our bowler Ashwin. He's come out in a very good way. The second innings, when England came into play, he took the two most crucial wickets of Stokes and Ali for them, breaking in fact Stokes at 78 out there. That, do you think, turned out to be the turning point of the second innings for England, or also were just
I think Sakshi, to be honest, all of the bowlers, each one of them has done well, including rookie off-spinner Jayant Yadav, right? Whether it is Umesh Yadav or Shami, they both steamed in consistently whenever they were given the chance. And you had Ashwin, Jadeja and Jayant Yadav bowling really well as well. I think the team has found a kind of balance. Amit Mishra, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Ishant Sharma, all of whom are test class bowlers, are waiting in the wings, and it's a problem of plenty that the Indian team has got, and it's a wonderful problem to have.
अच्छा, आपको क्या लग रहा है इंग्लैंड को आखिरकार क्या हुआ? हम पहले से कह भी रहे थे कि जो विशाखापट्टनम वाला मैच था वहां पर भी इतनी अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस नहीं थी, और जब हम मोहाली गए यही गेसिंग थी कि आखिरकार इंग्लैंड निकलेगी कैसे, और इंग्लैंड नहीं निकल पाए, इंग्लैंड फिर से फंस गई। आपको क्या लग रहा है कि क्यों दबाव लगातार उन पर बढ़ता जा रहा है? भारतीय जमीन पर खेल रहे हैं, कहते भी हैं कि भारतीय जमीन पर जब भारतीय प्लेयर्स खेलते हैं तो सबसे ज्यादा मजबूत स्थिति में होते हैं। क्या वो दबाव है क्या?
निशा, दोनों टीम पे दबाव था। भारतीय टीम में एक ऐसा टाइम था जब 200 रन भी नहीं बने थे और 6-7 विकेट गिर चुके थे। अश्विन और जडेजा की साझेदारी जो पहली इनिंग में वो बढ़त के और इंडियन टीम को लीड दिलाने में बहुत ही कामयाब रहे। जो टेल एंडर्स ने बैटिंग किया है, और शायद इंग्लैंड टेल एंडर्स को सही बॉलिंग नहीं किया, इंग्लैंड के गेंदबाज शायद थक गए थे, और फिर एक सपाट पिच में बहुत ज्यादा बॉल घूम भी नहीं रहा था, वहां पे बाउंस भी नहीं है, सीम मूवमेंट भी नहीं, वहां पे कैसे बॉलिंग करें ये शायद इंग्लैंड के गेंदबाज के पास दे डिडंट हैव क्लूज, और मुझे लगता है कि हमारे निचले क्रम के बल्लेबाज ने ये मैच
रिलैक्स हो गए थे क्या इंग्लैंड के बॉलर्स? उनको लगा अब सारे बैट्समैन को तो हमने आउट कर दिया, अब नीचे के बल्लेबाज क्या कर पाएंगे?
नहीं, कोई भी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय टीम रिलैक्स नहीं करती है। मैच जीतने आए हैं, वो हारने नहीं आए हैं, और उनके पास ऐसे पिचेस में बॉलिंग करने का अनुभव है ही नहीं। बहुत ही जरूरी होता है इधर अनुभव। जिस तरीके से अश्विन, जडेजा, उमेश यादव, शमी और जयंत यादव ने बॉलिंग की, वहां देख के सीखना चाहिए था इंग्लैंड को। मुझे नहीं लगता वो सीख पाए।
Okay, somewhere do you think one of the major reasons why England just fumbled was that they lacked consistency in their performances? They couldn't have a stable or a rock solid opening partnership for starters, which the Indians did not let them come into, and also their middle order, or should we say the lower middle order, completely collapsed in both the innings. What they would have needed is probably a solid partnership to go for them, which they failed to have in both of the innings.
See, you need to bat well in India. You win the toss and don't even score 300 runs. No team is going to win in Indian conditions if you don't score 300 runs in the first innings. And Alistair Cook and his team very well are aware of the fact that they needed to bat and score at least 400 runs to put India under pressure. They did that the last time they came here, and with Alistair Cook not being in the greatest of touches, he did get 100 in the first test match, but he doesn't look solid enough. Joe Root is perhaps the only batsman who's come good every single time, who looks threatening as well. Hamid is looking a good prospect as well, but apart from that, they have been struggling with the batting. They have tried to change the batting order a little bit, but it not worked for them. And the bowlers, unless you really run through the Indian side, give the Indians a headway, and then they are going to be batting really well. Also, it's very important to remember that the leg spinner, Adil Rashid, he's been played well by the Indians. He's picked up wickets, but expensive ones.
जिस तरीके का गेम अभी इस वक्त इंग्लैंड खेल रही है, आपको लगता है कौन सा ऐसा साइड है जिस पर इस वक्त इंग्लैंड को काम करने की जरूरत है? बैटिंग साइड, बॉलिंग साइड, आपको क्या लग रहा है किस चीज पर सबसे ज्यादा?
दोनों पे करना होगा निशा। जिस तरीके से 2 टेस्ट मैच में लगातार, हालांकि इस टेस्ट मैच में उनके पास एक मौका था भारत में ज्यादा दबाव डालने का, उसका पूरा फायदा नहीं उठाया। तो मेंटल एस्पेक्ट में भी उन्हें काम करना होगा, न सिर्फ बल्लेबाजी और गेंदबाजी में। जो मानसिक तौर पे भी उन्हें बहुत दे हैव टू वर्क वेरी हार्ड टू बाउंस बैक। उनके पास अभी 8 दिन है, अगर उसमें मेहनत करते, एक प्रैक्टिस मैच है वहाँ कुछ मेहनत करते या फिर माइंड को स्विच ऑफ करते, हो सकता है कि चौथे टेस्ट मैच में कुछ अच्छा क्रिकेट उनके यहाँ से देखने मिले।
So when you say that they need to work on their mental strength, what do you think exactly should be their area of working on? Because for them, their bowlers haven't clicked. It's only been Rashid at the end of the day, and also Stokes, who was there obviously in the first innings when he took those 4 crucial wickets for them. Second innings obviously was a complete collapse for them, completely in every way. What areas would you think they need to definitely work on more strongly on?
I think first and foremost, Sakshi, they need to tell themselves that they are in India, that they need to put their head down and bat. You cannot be playing rash strokes on the first day of a test match. Think that you will put India under pressure by playing belligerent cricket. You need to be playing smart cricket. I don't think England did that. I'm sure the coach and the captain will sit down with the team, analyze the kind of mistakes that they did on the first day. After that, it was playing catch up, and they had the opportunity to bowl India out for a small lead,
Right,
but to
yes.
let Jayant Yadav,
Take the lead, yes.
Ashwin, Jadeja, all of them score half centuries,
Yes.
and for the lower half to be adding nearly 200 runs, I think that is where they lost the test match.
Completely.
ये हम टैलेंडर्स की यहाँ पर बात कर रहे हैं, टैलेंडर्स से भी यहाँ पर इंग्लैंड को अब निपटने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ करना होगा, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से टीम इंडिया इस मैच में उभरी है, यहाँ पर ऊपर के अगर बैटिंग लाइनअप की हम बात करें, उनके द्वारा हमेशा से अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस दी जाती रही है, लेकिन यहाँ पर जो लास्ट के अगर हम रविंद्र जडेजा की बात कर लें, अश्विन की, काफ़ी अच्छे इन लोगों ने स्कोर किया, काफ़ी अच्छा रन बनाया और ये दिखाया कि कभी भी मुश्किल घड़ी में ये लोग साथ दे सकते हैं और इन्हें फिर मैदान से हटा पाना थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा।
नहीं, बिल्कुल। जिस तरीके से अश्विन पूरे सीरीज में बल्लेबाजी कर रहे हैं, पिछले साल में उन्होंने जो बल्लेबाजी की है काबिले तारीफ है, और जडेजा अपने आप में जब विश्वास दिखाते हैं तो वो भी इस तरीके का बल्लेबाजी करते हैं। जब उनके पास स्कोर 90 का बन गया था, उसके बाद भी वो एग्रेसिव क्रिकेट खेल रहे थे, रन जल्दी बनाने के चक्कर में उन्होंने आउट भी हो गए। लेकिन जब आपके नंबर 7, नंबर 6, नंबर 7, नंबर 8 रन्स बना के देते हैं आपको और नंबर 9, तो जाहिर सी बात है कि सामने की टीम में बहुत ज़्यादा परेशानी होगी।
Yes, and something that just caught my eye right now was the partnership that played the most important role for us in the first innings. Also, I remember it was 6 for 204 when Kohli got out, and after that they could build onto a lead of almost 100 runs. So rock solid partnerships coming have been one of the major changes in the game strategy and also in the performances do you see in this particular test match, because at the end of the day we did talk about the fact that it's been an overall good performances, but then every person put in their bit, every player came and put in their bit, and all the partnerships, despite the fact that in the first innings there was a collapse, we did have a solid partnership coming ahead. Second innings, obviously we did not need a solid partnership apparently because obviously the chase was very low, but that one strong partnership somewhere no more is dependent on the top order batsman, but it's going down below the top order also and is being able to get converted. Do you think that has been one of the biggest changes in the game plan and strategy for us?
Oh, I'll keep it very simple. Every single Indian player contributed, and that's what counted. It doesn't matter whether the runs came from the top or whether the runs came at the bottom. Every single player contributed, whether with the bat or with the ball or on the field. I think that was important. This is what team sport is all about. You had Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara scoring runs. At the bottom, if you in the middle, if you get runs from Jadeja and from Ashwin, it's a bonus. I think even Umesh Yadav put a price on his wicket, and that was terrific to watch.
Okay, one thing else, apart from the fact that Parthiv Patel was included, there were talks apart from Parthiv Patel of all the other options who could be in picture. Do you really think now, because right now Parthiv Patel looks, he's proved the fact that his inclusion in the team has been worthwhile. Do you really see his chances of being swapped or probably being replaced for him, or do you see him going through and making to the next test also now?
It depends on what the selectors think. Riddhiman Saha's availability. As the first choice wicketkeeper, they will want Riddhiman Saha back. But if the injury is serious, then they might continue with Parthiv Patel. He also doubled up as an opening batsman because Rahul was out of this game. And he doubled up as an opening batsman and an effective one at that. To be scoring 118, 119 runs in the 2 innings. I think it's terrific performance, and the attitude that he showed in the middle with the bat. I think that was really good for India.
सेलेक्टर्स पर ये तमाम चीज़ें होंगी कि आखिरकार पार्थिव पटेल का सिलेक्शन होगा या नहीं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं उन्होंने दबाव तो बनाया होगा अपनी इस परफॉर्मेंस से, सोचने पर मजबूर किया होगा।
नहीं, आप चुनते निशा, अगर पार्थिव पटेल अवेलेबल हो जाते हैं अगले मैच के लिए तो आप भी चुनते उन्हें। तो अब तो हर सेलेक्टर्स ही नहीं, हम लोग भी चुनने लगेंगे कि पार्थिव पटेल को शायद होना चाहिए। लेकिन कैप्टन कोच और चयनकर्ता इन पे निर्भर करता है कि इनकी सोच क्या है। मिडिल ऑर्डर में रिद्धिमान साहा खेलते हैं, अच्छे विकेट कीपर हैं, क्या उन्हें वापस बुलाएंगे ये देखने वाली बात है। तो चयनकर्ता के सामने एक चैलेंज है। आई एम हैप्पी दैट ये चैलेंज हमको नहीं फेस करना होता।
Okay, do you think somewhere for England, what has been a major failure is getting acclimatized and also getting used to the Indian pitches? Because things really haven't been going their way. Even if you look at the entire way these three tests have gone, despite the fact they have been having a tough time getting used to it. Do you think that could be one of the major reasons why they have been facing all these problems?
Not really, Sakshi. If you look at the first test match, they had their moment. They put India, they got India under the mat, and then India wriggled out to a draw.
Yes.
Virat Kohli had to
manage
bat very uncharacteristically to draw the test match for India. So you cannot say it is acclimatization issue. They did have a poor series in Bangladesh, but coming to India, they looked on top of their game. They lost a lot in the second test match, lost by a massive margin, and in the third test match as well in Mohali, they had their chances, they had their moment,
couldn't
and they
convert
didn't
that.
seize the moment. I think India won the big moments, and that's why India won the test
So
match.
clearly the pressure right now is riding very high on England, because they need to make a comeback in the series for the saving grace at least, because they can't go ahead and look at winning the series now. Clearly, if they want to, they'll have to go ahead and make it a go out completely, but that's out of picture. They can't win the series now. So do you think the pressure, given the fact that they'll be under immense pressure now in this entire series now, things could actually pot boil for them and we could be winning it like right now in the next fourth? It could be probably a 4-0 thing for them.
I think they have always been under pressure. Any team that comes to India is
3-0 is what
always
I
under
meant.
pressure,
Yes,
whether it's 3-0 or 4-0. They're always going to be under pressure playing in India. And India has been playing some very good cricket in the past year and a half. It's been playing some real good cricket, and it's very hard to beat at home. So England is always under pressure. They don't have the bowling that helped them win the series the last time they came here. They don't have the bowlers. Anderson has got older, Broaders got older. India has played both of them really well. And you don't have Graham Swan, for example,
Yes.
picking up wickets with his off-spin bowling.
Right.
Or Monty Panessa.
Yeah.
The two of them were a deadly duo the last time they came. They don't have the bowlers. Adil Rashid looked like he could challenge the Indian batsman, but after the first test match, Indians have started reading him better.
Yes, of course, and it's been a very good wind-up or a wrap-up for us at the end of the day, Nisha. The way the Indians came out today was commendable. It clearly looked that, in fact, Raja was earlier there also in the studios, and we had this discussion where he was very point clear that this would be looking, we would be looking to finish off the day, game today on the fourth day, and that's how things have been for the Indians. A good going, a good finish for the Indians. Indians taking the lead 2-0 there.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल और आगे कोई दबाव भी नहीं रहने वाला इंडियन पर
जी।
क्योंकि हम दो से तो आगे चल ही
दो
रहे
शून्य
हैं
से,
और दो मैचेस बाकी हैं और उनमें कहीं ना कहीं प्रेशर जो है वो इंग्लैंड पर होगा। चलिए और अब बात कर लेते हैं बैडमिंटन की। दरअसल मकाऊ ओपन बैडमिंटन में मंगलवार का दिन भारतीयों के लिए मिला जुला रहा। हांगकांग ओपन के विजेता समीर वर्मा, बी साई प्रणीत और परुपल्ली कश्यप अपने अपने मुकाबले जीतकर दूसरे मैच में पहुंच गए। एच.एस. प्रणॉय चोट के कारण पहले दौर के मैच के बीच से ही हट गए। महिला वर्ग में साइना नेहवाल बुधवार को अपने अभियान की शुरुआत करेंगे। साइना पहले दौर में इंडोनेशिया की हना रमादीनी का सामना करेंगी। साइना हांगकांग ओपन के सेमीफाइनल में हार गई थी। उधर शानदार फॉर्म में चल रही पीवी सिंधु ने वर्ल्ड सुपर सीरीज फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाई कर लिया है। इस प्रतियोगिता में साइना की जगह नहीं बना सकी। तो यहाँ पर अगर हम बात करें कल जो मैच होने वाला है साइना का, आप उस मैच को किस तरीके से देख रहे हैं? क्योंकि चोट उन्हें लग गई थी, उन्होंने चोट के बाद वापसी की है। अब आपको लगता है वापसी अच्छी हो पाएगी, जीत हासिल हो पाएगी? क्योंकि इसके पहले वाले टूर्नामेंट की अगर हम बात करें वहां पर कुछ खास नहीं कर पाई थी सानिया।
निशा, सबसे बड़ी जीत उनकी ये हुई है कि वो बैडमिंटन कोर्ट में वापस आई है। 2.5 महीने भी नहीं हुए सर्जरी के और वो वापस आके खेलती है, ये बड़ी जीत है और हम सब के लिए प्रेरणा है। और सेमीफाइनल खेलना पिछले हफ्ते हांगकांग ओपन में, ये भी बड़ी उपलब्धि है, बहुत छोटी नहीं है। हो सकता है मकाऊ ओपन जहां बड़े प्लेयर्स नहीं खेल रहे तो वो जीत भी सकती है। ये मैच तो जीतना चाहिए, कल वाला मैच तो जीतना चाहिए।
Yes, also going by the way things have been for Saina, if you were to look at the Hong Kong Open also, we remember in the first game she had struggled to get that win that she got against her Thailand opponent Nichachorn Jindapol, that she won. That was a struggle that she had to go through. She managed to make it till the semis, but then she lost out there. Her consistency obviously has been under the limelight, given the fact she's coming back from a surgery. So obviously there would be question marks over there, and also the fact that Sindhu's absence would just add on to the burden of expectations that would be there on her shoulders now. What do you think are we looking at from this present girl right now in this tournament?
Two questions. First, you asked me about the Hong Kong Open. I think that she's come back and she's playing well. She's not as if she's playing badly. To be winning matches is terrific. She's won matches, got to the semi-final, which is wonderful for her own mental makeup. And then to say that the pressure on her will grow because Sindhu is absent may not be right. She might actually rejoice the fact that she is now top seed and she's fancied to win the tournament. So a win under her belt, a title win under her belt, I think will do her good. The last 3 times Sindhu has been winning Macau Open. Maybe it is now Saina's turn to do that.
Okay. And also, let me ask you one more thing. Since Sindhu is not there, she's obviously taken a break, given the fact that her coach said that she's been playing too much. Do you think if Saina doesn't perform, with the other 3 male contenders who are there, obviously we have Sai Praneeth also out there, then we have Sameer Verma, but given the fact that Sindhu is not there, one of the most strongest potential contenders for the tournament and for the medal out there, does that somewhere just lower the amount of expectations or the chances or possibility of us winning the tournament and Indian going ahead and winning? Because clearly over here, it leaves Saina in the forefront, as we've also talked about that.
Oh, I think any tournament, irrespective of what status it is got, whether it is Super Series or Grand Prix, everybody will go in thinking they will win, want to win the tournament. It's not as if somebody enters a tournament wanting to lose. Everybody wants to win, and I'm sure that each of the Indians, whether it is the boys who are playing, the men who are playing, or the lone women representative that we've got, all of them will want to win, and I think they should go in believing that they can win.
Yeah, of
और
course.
अगर हम समीर वर्मा की बात करें, पल्लू-पल्ली की बात करें, दूसरे दौर में वो लोग पहुंच गए, उनके मैचेस को आप किस तरह से देख रहे हैं? आगे उनके लिए कितना स्ट्रगल है?
कश्यप की वापसी अच्छी खबर है. वो भी चोट से लौट के आ रहे हैं. ओलंपिक्स मिस हो गया था उन्हें. बहुत ही दुखी थे. लौट के आके खेलना वो उनके लिए भी बहुत बड़ी बात है. अगर वो अच्छा खेलते हैं, अपने प्रदर्शन से खुश होते हैं, तो आई थिंक इट इज अ मैसिव विक्ट्री फॉर हिम, चाहे वो टूर्नामेंट जीते या ना जीते. समीर वर्मा पे अभी दबाव होगी. आपकी मेरी निगाहें उन पे जरा अभी ज्यादा ठीकी होंगी, लेकिन बहुत ही टैलेंटेड लड़का है समीर. उनके पास डिटर्मिनेशन बहुत ज्यादा है. डिफेंसिव गेम काफी स्ट्रांग है. मुझे लगता है कि आगे चल के हम समीर के बारे में बहुत
कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा लगे कि सिंधु की कमी खलेगी आगे अगर होती तो और भी शायद ज्यादा उम्मीदें होती.
निशा, हमको आदत डालनी होगी. सिंधु से पहले हम साइना नेहवाल की बात कर रहे थे कि लगातार हम साइना नेहवाल पे दबाव बना रहे थे. अब सिंधु पे दबाव बना रहे. वी शुड एक्सेप्ट अ चैंपियन परफॉर्मेंस. कोई भी अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस देता है, चाहे वो उनका नाम सिंधु क्यों ना हो या साइना नेहवाल क्यों ना हो, वी शुड एक्सेप्ट दैट परफॉर्मेंस. और उनकी मेहनत, उसकी सराहना करनी चाहिए. एफर्ट जो 100% देते हैं, उनकी सराहना देनी चाहिए. नाम से बहुत ज़्यादा तवज्जो नहीं देना चाहिए.
Okay, so if you were to talk about the men, Sameer Verma, HS Pranoy, B Sai Praneeth and Pallupalli Kashyap, 4 people out there for us. Sameer Verma obviously has been in great form. There's been a very good consistency that he has shown so far. Out of these 4, who would you be pointing or placing your money on in terms of getting us good results? Because
safely
Sameer
in my
Verma,
pocket. I don't play money at all. Safely in my pocket.
hypothetically, if I were to ask you then in that
No,
case.
if I were to back someone to win the tournament, at this point of time, it has to be Sameer Verma.
Yes.
But I think Kashyap has got the better game.
Yes.
If he is 100% fit, if he is battle ready, I think Kashyap will win the tournament. Even though we will expect Sameer Verma because he's just had a good run in the Hong Kong tournament. But Kashyap is the better player today, and I think I will fancy Kashyap to be winning.
What
this
about
tournament.
HS Pranoy and also Pallupalli Kashyap?
Pranay is already out with injury, so Pranay is not in the reckoning anymore. So it's got to be between Kashyap and Sameer Verma at this point of time.
That we see the fight happening at the end of the day.
Don't really know. There are others as well in the race, and like I've been repeating myself, everyone goes in to win.
Okay.
सिंधु के बारे में एक सवाल है मेरा. वर्ल्ड सुपर सीरीज के फाइनल्स के लिए उन्होंने क्वालिफाई किया. उनको आप किस तरीके से देखते हैं?
देखिए, जो भी लड़का या लड़की लगातार कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस देते हैं, उनका जगह बनता है वर्ल्ड सुपर सीरीज फाइनल में. और सिंधु के लिए अच्छी बात है. ओलंपिक गेम्स में सिल्वर मेडल के बाद लग रहा था कि वो कुछ दिन आराम कर रही है, कॉम्पिटिटिव फ्रेम में नहीं है. वापस आई है 2 टूर्नामेंट में लगातार फाइनल खेलना, एक जीतना और एक में रनर अप होना. शी इज बीन कंसिस्टेंट एंड आई थिंक शी इज फाउंड द रिवॉर्ड फॉर कंसिस्टेंसी. उनके सामने एक बहुत बड़ा चट्टान है जिसका नाम कैरोलिना मारिन है. उनको हराना होगा, कभी ना कभी कहीं ना कहीं हराना होगा. देन आई थिंक शी इज ऑन हर वे टू बिकमिंग वर्ल्ड नंबर 1, जो साइना नेहवाल पहले हो चुकी है.
Okay, so I think we've got the gist of the sum up of the story so far, how it has been. Clearly, going by the way, a lot riding on Saina Nehwal's shoulder because she's coming back after an injury, and there's the absence of PV Sindhu also out there. He was wishing all the Indian shuttlers out there all the best of luck, all the luck in the world. Do go ahead and give a good performance so that we have a smile on our faces. Let's move on and get you the latest update from the world of hockey now. The talented youngster Afan Yusuf slotted 2 huge goals during the first half, and skipper VR Raghunath struck just seconds after Australia equalized in the third quarter as the Indian men's hockey team claimed a 3-2 win over the world number 1 in the first of the 2 tests. The win came just days after the tourists claimed a bronze medal in the Four Nations Invitational Tournament. Overall, this was the 22nd time an Indian men's hockey team beat Australia in 117 head-to-head matches. And I think the last line sums up a lot for us. Up against the Australians, Indian men are really riding high in terms of confidence. They've given a good performance. There's been some consistency that we've been seeing in the men of late. And being up against the Australians, the world number 1, 117 matches head to head, 22 we are able to win, out of which one of this obviously was right now, is a big morale booster, and they deserve all the applaud.
Definitely. If you look at the scoreline, India beat Australia, it sounds great. But India is an experimental side. The best Indian players are not there. Similarly, Australia is an experimental side. They played the Four Nation tournament, they won the Four Nation tournament, and they're relaxed a little bit. So it comes at an opportune time for India. Yes, it's 22nd win in 117 contests. Great for India. But I don't think we should go overboard with that. It's wonderful to be beating Australia. At any level in hockey, it's great. But I think we should just take it and then move on.
लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं जो भारतीय प्रशंसक हैं उनकी दिल की धड़कनें उस वक्त बढ़ी हुई थी जब 2-2 की बराबरी पर दोनों लोग चल रहे थे, और उस दौरान अगर रघुनाथ की तरफ से गोल नहीं लगता तब तो सारा कुछ खराब हो जाता। लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं एक अच्छा यहाँ पर रिजल्ट देखने को मिला। जो अगर ओवरऑल हम इंडिया की परफॉर्मेंस की बात करें, आप उस पूरे इंडिया की परफॉर्मेंस को कैसे देख रहे हैं और जिस तरीके से उन्होंने ऑस्ट्रेलिया पर दबाव बनाया उसके बारे में क्या कहेंगे आप?
पिछले साल 2 साल में लगातार भारतीय टीम कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस देते हैं। खास करके एक टाइम ऐसा होता था जब आपकी टीम 70वें मिनट में जाके गोल दे के हार जाती थी। टू प्ले लाइक दे डिड, टू स्टॉप अदर टीम फ्रॉम स्कोरिंग, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। आई थिंक इंडियन हॉकी इज इम्प्रूविंग, सही दिशा में चल रही है इंडियन हॉकी टीम। कोच बहुत बेहतरीन कोच है और प्लेयर्स बहुत अच्छा रेस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं उनको। मुझे लगता है कि आगे के कुछ दिन ऐसे आएंगे जब आपके पास ऐसे प्लेयर्स होंगे जो वर्ल्ड लेवल पे कम्पीट करेंगे।
एंड चूज करना मुश्किल होएगा थोड़ा कि कौन सी टीम किससे बनाई
वो दिन शायद दूर है। आई थिंक वी आर अ लिटिल फार फ्रॉम having the luxury of a B team which is very good and can replace anybody in the A side. I think we are still some distance away, but we have a good balance. We've got good youngsters coming through, and if we can keep that assembly line going, we can be in the top 6.
Okay, also given the fact that, as you've also said, I mean, know that this is a relatively young team of players that we're still experimenting with, and they've gone ahead and defeated the world number 1 team out there. And let's look at the way the whole strategy went for us, because one point this team, or should we say this is not the best of the team that we have right now, we're making a team, but the Indian men's hockey team has always been known to be a team that has lacked the necessary aggression that we need, and the defense also used to be under the question mark always. Do you think gradually we are working on our weak points at the end of the day, because being 2-all and then making a comeback into the game and snatching the game away from the opponents, from a team that's known to be a very good player of the game in itself, somewhere our strategy and the way we actually conduct it on the field is improving, execution of it?
I think more than anything that's happening on the field, it's the stereotypes that we've got in our mind that are breaking. I think that is what the Indian team has achieved over the last few years. That they don't concede goals in the last few minutes. We used to we brand them very quickly as saying that they don't have the killer instinct. All that is changing. I think we are changing more than the team itself changing. I think the attitude toward the team is changing. I think that's wonderful, because attitudinal change is not very easy to achieve, and for us to change our mindset, start embracing this team a little bit more, I think they have done terrific.
तीसरा अगर हम तीसरे क्वार्टर की अगर हम बात करें, वहाँ पर काफ़ी फ्री होकर टीम खेल रही थी और कहीं ना कहीं दबाव बनाने की जो है टीम पर कोशिश थी, दूसरी जो टीम थी उन पर कोशिश थी। और आखिर की अगर हम क्षणों की बात करें, आखिर के समय में बॉल उन्होंने पास ही नहीं होने दिया, काफ़ी स्ट्रेटेजी के साथ खेला, कोशिश करी कि काफ़ी ज़्यादा दबाव बनाया जाए, बॉल ना दिया जाए और किसी भी तरीके से गोल ना हो।
ये तो जाहिर सी बात है, जब आपके पास बढ़त बनी हुई है, आप सामने की टीम को बॉल नहीं देना चाहेंगे, जाहिर सी बात है ये डिफेंसिव टैक्टिक्स है, लेकिन इसके लिए भी बहुत हाई स्किल सेट चाहिए। जब आपके पास वो स्किल्स नहीं है तो आप डिफेंसिव भी नहीं खेल सकते। तो आई थिंक इट इज क्रेडिटेबल कि भारतीय टीम के पास अब वो हुनर है जो लीड लेके आप यू कैन सिट बैक ऑन द लीड। इट इज अ लर्निंग फॉर इंडिया, ये सीख है, लेकिन बड़े टूर्नामेंट में आप ये कोशिश नहीं करेंगे। 3-2 से आप 4-2 करना चाहेंगे, गोल बनाना चाहेंगे। इफ यू backpedal, then it can some big teams, even Australia, can punish you severely.
Yeah, and something very important that you mentioned when I'd asked you was that there's a definite attitudinal change that is coming in the team and the way it is approaching and executing the game on field also. Apart from the fact that there's an attitudinal change within the internal setup of the team, do you also think that there's a gradual change happening outside when we talk about the media, when we talk about the way the people today, the Indians, perceive the sport, the crowd that comes? Do you see that change also happening out there for us?
Oh, this is what I was saying. The Indian team has changed, but they have managed to change you and me, and I think that's the biggest victory. That you are now ready to concede this Indian team as competitive. Previously, we used to accept defeat of the Indian team. We used to feel hurt, but we used to accept it. But today, you are expecting this Indian team to win against Australia. I think that is the change that this team has achieved, and they probably deserve the Padma Shri for that.
That's really nicely put, but still I would want to know, when I meant the attitudinal change, I meant to say how the country, how the media, how the common masses today look on the sport, because let's not forget that even today the craze that we have for cricket is huge, is humongous out there. So when you talk about hockey, do you gradually see that the sport in itself is being able to carve a niche in a world or in a country which is cricket crazy driven out there? Do you see that change
To be very honest, not really. You look at tomorrow morning newspaper and see that there will be a 6-paragraph report or it will be a 2-column report. You look at the Indian team's test match victory against England and you see the difference. Forget these two. Look at EPL or look at Formula 1. We'll still be devoting so much space in our newspapers. It's not just the newspaper. I think overall the media needs to understand that Indian sport needs backing. Indian sports people need backing. And if we can, and I think Sports Hour is a great way of introducing some of this by making some of our champions come home every day and talk to our people. I think most of us don't even know whether Rupinder Pal Singh is 6'3" or 6'2" or is a 5'2". We don't even know that.
Yes, that's very, very rightly put. In fact, Nisha, right?
बिल्कुल। और अगर हम बात करें यूसुफ की बात कर लें या फिर रघुनाथ की बात कर लें, काफ़ी अच्छा गोल उन्होंने किया है और उसी गोल के जरिए आज हम जीत हासिल कर पाए हैं। चलिए यहाँ पर हम एक छोटे से ब्रेक के लिए रुकते हैं। ब्रेक के बाद भी कई सारे सेगमेंट्स हैं जो आपका इंतजार कर रहे हैं और कई सारी इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरीज भी आपको बताएंगे, लेकिन एक छोटे से ब्रेक के बाद।
Sports, the spirit of India.
हिंदुस्तान की शान है हम में दम।
हर मुश्किल का सामना करने का जज्बा रखते हैं हम।
लो आ रहे हैं हम।
Only on DD Sports.
Only on DD Sports.
सिर्फ DD Sports पर.
Only on DD Sports.
देखते रहिए.
देखते रहिए. देखते रहिए.
देखते रहिए.
Welcome back after the break. Let's get set with the next story of the day. It's a time for segment Ground Zero. Here we are going to introduce you to one of the key players of the day that has been so far. And today we shall be talking about Sania Mirza. Yes, the lady who has taken the world of tennis by storm. In this particular segment, we take you through India to the world stage of sports with outstanding achievements that they have accomplished. We take you through the journey of tennis sensations of India.
Indian tennis sensation Sania Mirza brought so many glories to India in the year of 2016 as well to keep her fans happy and cheers. Mirza and her Swiss partner, former world #1 Martina Hingis, kicked off their 2016 WTA tour in Australia by winning the tournaments in Brisbane and Sydney. The top seed pair of Mirza and Hingis also claimed the doubles title of Australian Open 2016, which is Mirza's third Grand Slam title in women doubles as she won Wimbledon and US Open in 2015. She already bagged mixed doubles title of Australian Open 2009, French Open 2012 and US Open in 2014, along with girls doubles trophy of Wimbledon in 2003. The pair also won the inaugural St. Petersburg Ladies Trophy before suffering a shock loss to Daria Kasatkina, Elena Vesnina at the Qatar Open. That loss ended Hingis and Mirza's 41-match winning streak. Indian Wells Masters was another setback for this winning combination as they surprisingly lost their second-round match against the pair of Vania King and Alla Kudryavtseva. Mirza and Hingis again failed to cross the second-round hurdle and lost to Margarita Gasparian and Monica Niculescu at the Miami Open. After losing 3 out of last 5 matches, Mirza and Hingis took a decision to take break and missed the Charleston Open, where they were the defending champions. With new strategy and energy, the Indo-Swiss pair started their clay season by reaching the finals of Porsche Tennis Grand Prix and Mutua Madrid Open, where they eventually lost, but they managed to win their third consecutive clay final in Internazionale BNLT Italia. Sania also produced a notable performance in mixed doubles of French Open with Croatian Ivan Todic, but settled for runner-up as they lost to Martina Hingis and Leander Paes in the summit clash. In August, Mirza and Hingis announced their mutual decision to split as a team, citing last few under-par performances. Now Sania was paired with Barbara Strykova at the Cincinnati Masters and won their debut tournament by defeating former partner Hingis and Coco van der Weeg. Mirza teamed up with Hingis again for the 2016 WTA Finals in Singapore, where she was the 2-time defending champion. However, the team lost in the semi-finals to Elena Vesnina and Ekaterina Makarova. However, in spite of the loss, Mirza finished as the year-end #1 for the second consecutive season.
तो बहुत ही आउटस्टैंडिंग परफॉर्मेंस अभी तक रही है सानिया मिर्जा की। और अगर देश में कहा जाए लड़कियां कहीं ना कहीं उनको देखकर ही अब टेनिस खेलना उन्होंने शुरू कर दिया और वो भी चाहते हैं कि वो भी कहीं ना कहीं ऐसे ही खेलें और ऐसे नाम रोशन करें। आपके पास आऊँगी, आपसे मैं जानना चाहूँगी आप उनके खेल को कैसे देखते हैं, उनका जो खेल का तरीका है और जिस तरीके से उन्होंने अभी तक परफॉर्मेंस दी है, चाहे डबल्स की बात करें, सिंगल्स की बात करें, मिक्स की बात करें, वो जिस तरह की परफॉर्मेंस देती है, जिस तरह का प्रदर्शन देती है, कड़ी मेहनत करती है, उसको लेकर आपका क्या व्यू है इसको लेकर?
सिंगल्स में तो बहुत पहले उन्होंने छोड़ ही दिया था। उन्हें पता था कि सिंगल्स में बहुत ज़्यादा दूर जा नहीं सकती। वर्ल्ड नंबर 29 तक पहुंची थी, बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि उनके लिए, लेकिन वो जान गई थी कि डबल्स ही उनके लिए करियर में लंबा करियर डबल्स में है और वहाँ पे अगर पार्टनर सही मिल गया उनको तो वो जीतते जा रही थी लगातार। जैसे मार्टिना हिंगिस मिल गए उन्हें She's got a very good all-court game. Forehand उनका तो क्लासी है ही. नाम ही फ्रॉलियन फोरहैंड रखा था स्टेफी ग्राफ के बाद इनका फोरहैंड माना जाता है. ओवरऑल अपना गेम इंप्रूव कर गए और अडेप्टेबिलिटी दूसरे प्लेयर के साथ मिलके ऑन कोर्ट केमिस्ट्री कैसे बरकरार रखना है ये शायद अच्छे तरीके से जानती है सानिया मिर्जा. और बहुत ज़्यादा परेशानी की भी बात नहीं होनी चाहिए. वी शुड नॉट बी सरप्राइज कि अगले साल भी अगर वो वर्ल्ड नंबर 1 फिनिश करें.
Okay, something that you mentioned about was the adaptability bit of her. She was with Hingis. They had a 41 match winning streak together. They finally took a break. She now has a new partner, Barbara Strikova, that she's playing with. She's been a person who's gone through down the line changing partner swapping. The longest she ever settled with someone was Hingis, obviously, when she's played as a doubles partner, and they won the maximum number of titles. When you talk about adaptability, how far do you think she has brought herself given on this one particular trait of hers, that is adaptability for her, because her game plan has always been very well executed based on that?
Sakshi, it is not just adaptability. You got to play smart. Irrespective of who your partner is, you've got to be smart on court, and I think she's one of the smartest tennis players going around. She's very clever. She's able to sense what is going to happen across the court, and she anticipates and reacts really well to the challenges that she's presented with. She's one of the classiest doubles players the world has seen, and she's built on that, and I think that is terrific. Whoever is the partner, the adaptability factor is very important, but her own skill sets that she brings to the court, I think they are very important.
मार्टिना हिंगिस का जब साथ छूटा था या जब दोनों अलग हुए थे तो ये लग रहा था कि जितनी सफलता मार्टिना हिंगिस के साथ मिली इतनी सफलता उन्हें नहीं मिलेगी, लेकिन जब मैचेस शुरू हुए तो वहां पर और ज़्यादा निखार यहाँ पर देखने को मिला सानिया मिर्जा की परफॉर्मेंस में.
नहीं, सामने चैलेंज है. ये वाला सीजन जो अगले सीजन शुरू होना है वहाँ पे चैलेंज होंगे क्योंकि बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स डिफेंड कर रहे हैं वो. जब वो पॉइंट्स आपके डिफेंड नहीं होते और लगातार मार्टिना जैसे पार्टनर आपको नहीं मिलेंगे, लेफ्ट हैंडर है और दूसरे कोर्ट का पूरा ख्याल रखती थी, ये वाला कॉम्बिनेशन आपको बहुत कम मिलने को देखने मिलेगा. और सानिया खुद जानती है कि पॉइंट्स डिफेंड करना इस साल उनके लिए मुश्किल काम होगा क्योंकि यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू डोमिनेट लाइक यू डिड. लेकिन ये भी याद रखना होगा मार्टिना से पहले भी वो वर्ल्ड नंबर 1 थी और वो कोई भी प्लेयर के साथ एडजस्ट करके मैदान में उतर सकती है. यही देखने मिलेगा कि एक साल और बढ़ गया है, उम्र बढ़ गया है, कहीं ना कहीं बॉडी पे टोल होगा. ये देखने वाली बात है कि क्या सानिया मिर्जा उन सब से उभर के आके एक बार फिर वर्ल्ड नंबर 1 बन सकती है.
And something very important that you mentioned was how clever she is when it comes to the game. When she started off as a singles player. Then very quick down the line, she had this realization that you also mentioned, and all of us know that she couldn't sustain herself or would not be able to sustain herself for very long as a singles player. She obviously got a lot of criticism also for the fact that she could have or she would have or she should have represented us on the singles platform, but then she went on to go ahead and play in the doubles because that's where she knew. So that also is a very strong psyche and a very strong intrinsic characteristic of Sania Mirza that has gone on to make her what she is today. A woman who's always known what she's wanted out of the game, out of the sport, and where she's wanted to see herself.
I think she got very good inspiration and motivation in a couple of men like Leander Paes and Mahesh Bhupati. Mahesh is very close to Sania Mirza, and she's seen how Mahesh gave up singles or Leander gave up singles to play doubles, extend his career past the 40-year mark. I think it's very important that you have got idols to look up to. And she had some very good examples of people who gave up singles, and she must have listened to them, sought them out, picked their brains, and learned that it was very, very important for her to focus on doubles.
Very, very rightly put. I think on that note, it's time for us now to move on to the next segment, which is obviously down the memory lane. We will try to recall why 29th November is important in the sporting history.
Again, the big hit, and this time he's got over the top and 6 runs.
On this day in 1984, one of the greatest batsmen of Pakistan, Javed Miandad played a match-winning innings against New Zealand. It was the second test match between Pakistan and New Zealand at Hyderabad. Miandad made 103 not out in the second innings with the help of 13 fours and 1 6. This was the second 100 of Miandad in that match. He made 104 in the first innings with the help of 12 fours. By the virtue of Miandad's brilliant performance, Pakistan won the test match by 7 wickets. Miandad was declared the man of the match. At that time, Miandad became the second Pakistani cricket player after Hanif Mohammad to score 2 centuries in a test match.
Here's the 100 coming up. And yet another test 100 for Javed Miandad. His 21st, in fact.
His 103 not out in the second innings made him his country's leading century maker with 13. He is famous for not only his outstanding performance in the game, but also his tough attitude. He has been an extraordinary player that Pakistan has ever managed to produce. In his 124 test matches, Miandad scored 8,832 runs with an excellent batting average of 52.57. He made 23 centuries and 43 half-centuries in his entire test career.
So much for a tickle on the leg side. It was a wonderful way to get there, wasn't it?
His top score was 280. Miandad managed to make 7,381 runs. The average was 53.37. He made 8 centuries and 50 half-centuries in all the ODI matches he played. His love for cricket and his passion for the game is known by everyone. This right-hand batsman is known as a legend in the world of cricket.
That is 253. Pakistan 54 for 4.
Today is the birthday of former Indian wicket-keeper batsman Sadanand Vishwanath. He played 3 tests and 22 one-day internationals for the country between 1985 and 1988. As fiery behind the stumps as in front of them, Vishwanath gained recognition as a wicket-keeper batsman during the height of India's ascendancy in world cricket in the mid-80s. Vishwanath scored 6 not out on his ODI debut against England at his hometown Bangalore. In his next match, his 23 not out coming in at number 9 helped India win the match. He played all 3 tests on India's disastrous tour of Sri Lanka in 1985. Vishwanath typified the cricketer's outlook at the period. Vishwanath's stint in international cricket was brief, but the fiery wicketkeeper was noticed by all. Sunil Gavaskar commented in his book One Day Wonders, "People will talk about many other reasons why we won the World Championship of Cricket in 1985. But one of the main reasons was the presence of Sadanand Vishwanath behind the stumps. Currently, he is a first-class umpire and coach."
Well, that's obviously a small attempt that we get to you on highlighting how things have been, how sport has changed the way we look at different games in the country today. And that was Down the Memory Lane, a small effort and attempt from us to just take you down all the memories that have somewhere carved the way for different sports personalities, different sports players, and also given a shape to the sport they belong to. I think, Nisha, on that note, it's time for us also now to just take a quick wrap.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। तो बहुत शुक्रिया आपका स्टूडियो में आने के लिए राजा रमन जी, और हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए इस चर्चा में शामिल होने के बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका।
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you too.
Thank you, Raja. And on that note, it's time for us also now. If you missed this show, then you may also enjoy this show at 12 midnight and 7 a.m. the next morning. You can also catch Sports Hour at our YouTube channels also. That's our various sports, so should we say social media channels. Facebook.com/Doordarshan Sports. Twitter handle being DD Sports Channel.
youtube.com/Doordarshan स्पोर्ट्स पर भी जाकर आप देख सकते हैं। उसके अलावा आप इंस्टा पर भी जा सकते हैं।
and our mail ID would be sportsa4@gmail.com, where you can always write in with your views, comments, feedback, and also how do you like the new look of Sportsa that we are bringing to you now. Completely changed, but still the aim remains the same, to get you the latest updates from all across the globe and the country when it comes to sports.
बिल्कुल, तो आज के लिए मुझे और साक्षी को स्पोर्ट्स आर से दीजिए इजाजत, लेकिन आपके साथ दोबारा हम हाजिर होंगे कल और बताएंगे आपको खेल जगत की तमाम खबरें, लेकिन आज के लिए बस इतना ही। नमस्कार,
गुड बाय।